Drive 3 hours north of Los Angeles on Highway 395 until you start seeing the granite peaks of the Sierra Nevada, and you'll soon come to a place that's become synonymous with American injustice, the Manzanar National Historic Site. After Japan's attacks on Pearl Harbor in December of 1941, and with fears of wartime espionage and sabotage high, it was here where thousands of innocent Japanese Americans from the LA area were imprisoned. They lived for the rest of the war in Spartan barracks behind barbed wire fences and watched over by armed guards. For some, this place isn't only a dark chapter in American history, it's part of family history.
I was born here.
You were born here?
Yes.
That's Pat Sakamoto. Go back to the start of World War II, and her mother, Ku Sakamoto, was a 17-year-old from LA's Boyle Heights neighborhood when, like the rest of LA's Japanese American community, she was rounded up and transported to Manzanar. It was part of the wider national effort to incarcerate 120,000 people of Japanese ancestry living on the West Coast in 10 camps across several states.
I don't think people realize what it did to the Japanese. And to think that this country did that to her, it's just unfathomable.
And Pat Sakamoto says that her mother's memory of her years at Manzanar followed her for the rest of her life.
My mother never could speak of her time here. She would always just say to me, "Patty, it was a bad time. There's nothing to remember." So after my mother passed away, I said to myself, I'm going to be her voice. I'm going to tell her story.
Starting in the early 1970s, Japanese American activists, many of them people once interned here, began pressing for recognition of what happened at Manzanar as a crime against the Constitution. Their efforts led Congress to designate Manzanar a National Historic Site in 1992. That was followed by the opening of a museum and visitor center in 2004. The exhibits at the center squarely confront the racism and wartime hysteria that created Manzanar, and they vividly show the hardships of daily life in the camp. But many, like Pat Sakamoto, fear what's been memorialized at Manzanar could be erased by the Trump administration's budget cuts to federal parks and its growing penchant for downplaying or outright whitewashing shameful chapters in America's past. Like other national parks and historic sites, notices have already appeared in Manzanar's visitor center, asking people to report exhibits they feel are, quote, negative about either past or living Americans.
But most importantly, we come here today because we are outraged by the Trump regime's attempts to erase our history.
To fight possible censorship by the Trump administration, protesters recently gathered at Manzanar, vowing to protect the site.
We will not allow our history to be erased, and we will not allow our communities to be erased, and we will continue to speak out against the lawlessness of the Trump administration. No more Manzanars, never again is now. Thank you.
That's Bruce Embry addressing the crowd. Like Pat Sakamoto, his mother was also imprisoned in Manzanar, and Embry lobbied for years to create a national historic site here, he says, as an act of patriotism.
The significance of this place is the lessons that it holds for our country. This isn't a Japanese American story. This is an American story. And the people that suffered here were Americans, by and large. My mother was a citizen. That didn't protect her from being forcibly removed from her community and incarcerated without charges. There was no due process. No constitutional rights, freedom of assembly, freedom of speech. None of them were protected.
For many who visit Manzanar, the site feels especially relevant in today's divided times of ICE raids and soldiers on the streets of American cities. I meet visitor Cheryl Kataba as she studies displays about daily life and hardships in the camp during the war. Why come here today?
Oh boy, why come here today? In our current climate, it just seems appropriate. It seems appropriate to see what happens when hate, maybe not even hate, but suspicion is carried out to its extreme. It feels like some of this is happening now, and it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking, and we don't know what to do about it.
Like others who come here, Kataba hopes the lessons of Manzanar, if protected and heeded, might help America avoid repeating tragic mistakes from its past. I'm Saul Gonzalez.